Central Time. And then the max deadlift for the women, and then the max deadlift for the men. That should be a lot of fun. Event description for 10th inning presented by Crocs. As you mentioned, Adrian, just some classic CrossFit. We got some muscle-ups, we got some handstand push-ups, and we got a barbell out there.
That's right, and to be specific for 10th inning, we're going to get in 10 rounds of 4 ring muscle-ups. The athletes are then going to transition to that 30-inch in length line where they're going to execute 8 handstand push-ups. People watching will be familiar with this standard from this year's CrossFit Open. And then we've got 12 power snatches they'll take from the ground at 65 pounds.
First of 2 heats for the women as they are getting the equipment set to make sure that they can reach those rings with no problem. Ariel Lowen will be in lane number 7. She will certainly be an athlete to watch here. That gymnastics background, she could score some serious points in 10th inning.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup here. This is even going to be a impressive first heat of the day, but I'm specifically watching Ariel Lowen. She's got a really great history when it comes to seeing ring muscle-ups in a particular event. We know that with 40 of them prescribed within this event, it's going to be a bit of a hang-up for many of these women, perhaps in a place where Ariel may be able to accelerate past and or close the gap on other women if they're able to create separation from her on these other 2 movements.
Ariel Lowen right now in 13th place overall with 135 total points, which she's only 10 points back of Bethany Flores for a spot inside the top 10. And we are underway. Round number 1 here. 24 reps in each round, 19-minute time cap.
Folks, of course, with these ring muscle-ups, the athletes have to go from a position of fully extended arms below. They can use any form of kipping to get over the top of the rings, and then they've got to extend those arms all the way at the top.
Just about everybody done with her 4 ring muscle-ups at the same time. Shelby Neal was the last woman to get to the handstand push-ups. Now, as you mentioned, a familiar standard. Your hands just have to be on that line. You can kip, do them however you want. Now to the power snatches. 12 reps here at 65 pounds.
That's right, and what I'll be watching for is right out of the gate, Sean, who's going to break these up and how are they going to break them up? Are they going to attempt to go 12 touch and go for all 10 rounds? Are they going to try to allow themselves to have a moment of reprieve by dropping the bar at, let's say, 8 and then finishing with 4? Will it be 6 and 6? You see some starting to drop. Frey over there taking a brief break. Looks like Danielle Brandon will be the first to complete her 12. Oh, no, she's followed Ariel.
Ariel Lowen, Danielle Brandon, and then down in lane 2, Elena Caratala is on to her now 2nd round. So looking to get now to the 48 rep mark to end round number 2.
As we're watching here, you'll notice that the straps on the rings are pretty long. This is something that's very different from what a lot of us will experience at a traditional CrossFit affiliate due to, of course, the distance between most roofs and or the rig that the rings are supported from, and it certainly changes the way athletes have to move. We talked about this handstand push-up standard as well. It's really close to the wall. It makes it so that the athletes have to be purely inverted, and accuracy is really something that's demanded from them here. So we're going to get a good insight to if athletes have been practicing with this particular standard or not.
Ariel Lowen was first back to the barbell for round 2. Manon Enganez, you're looking at now, was right behind her. Danielle Brandon is there as well. Paige Powers. Elena Caratalia, Shelby Neal just getting to the barbell along with Kyra Milligan. And Danny Spiegel is back on the wall. She's fallen towards the back of the pack as she now moves to the barbell. They will complete the first 5 rounds of this event on that first platform that they're on now. And round 6, they will move forward to the 2nd platform as Ariel Lowen continues to lead. She's through 48 of the 240 scored repetitions and on to round 3.
You see Danny Spiegel there using more of a muscle snatch where she extends the hips, rapidly turns her arms under the bar, but she doesn't rebend the legs. She's just extending her legs rapidly, extending her hips and allowing herself to reach lockout. And what this can do is allow the athlete to experience less of a ballistic stimulus. It's less jumping, less up and down, so it tends to spike the heart rate a touch less, but it can certainly build up fatigue in the posterior.
As we start round 3 here, what are the keys to this event?
Yeah, the keys are really simple here. You know, you have to be mindful of finding, you know, your particular threshold with these movements. And by that, I mean slow the burn. All three of these movements create a unique stimulus around the shoulder joint. And if you move too fast too soon, especially too early in this event, you're going to have too much fatigue and it's going to slow you down later. Also, the hidden movement here is the transition time, Sean. There's 3 movements, but it's 10 rounds. There's 30 opportunities for you to either lose time or gain time against the field. You've got to be wise with how you choose to attack that.
Ariel Lowen and Manon Anganese, your top 2 athletes, and now Paige Powers and Danielle Brandon getting to the barbell. Emily Rolfe in lane 9 and Karin Freyova in lane 10 have all started their 3rd round of 12 power snatches at 65 pounds.
And Sean, this barbell, these power snatches, it's a tricky aspect of this event because all of these athletes could go 12 unbroken, probably for all 10 rounds, but should they? The answer is no, and that's why we don't see anyone doing it right now. You want to create a rhythm there, even if it is 3 sets of 4 where you generously drop the bar way before you feel that burn. It's going to allow you to attack the transition back to the rings a little bit better if you feel like you finished all 12 of those very smooth.
Round 4 begins for Ariel Lowen. Paige Powers and Manon Anganese are back to the ring muscle-ups as well. Manon Anganese are on the left side of your screen. Paige Powers is in lane number 8, right next to. Now on the right side of your screen, you can see her middle of your screen in the blue top. She sits in 3rd place.
1, 2, 3.
Emily Rolfe in lane 9. She's also on to the 4th round of ring muscle-ups. Manon Anganese going through her 8 handstand push-ups here in round 4, past the 5-minute mark. 19-minute time cap. There's Shelby Neal. Ariel Lowen back to the barbell again.
Yeah, and one thing that I was going to mention is we can't forget all the grip-intensive work that was asked of these athletes yesterday. The killer cage, of course, which left a mark for many of them, building fatigue in the hands, the forearms, the lats, the shoulders. But then, of course, the log muscle-ups that they started the day with. So a lot of this accumulative fatigue is going to be building as we see events unfold throughout the course of this weekend. It's really going to show the volume, tolerance, and the durability of a lot of these athletes.
Now, Emily Rolfe has moved herself into 3rd place. Manon Anganese starting to challenge Ariel Lowen for the top spot in this heat. Final rep for Lowen. She is done, and she will move into round number 5. Through now 96 of the 240 total repetitions. Manon Anganese is done as well, and Anganese is going to beat Lowen back to the rings, but we will see who gets started first. It's going to be Ariel Lowen on the rings first. Here comes Anganese.
12.
This will be a great test to really see how Anganese has been able to work on her overall stamina and endurance. It's definitely something that's noted as she's focused on that. And this being 10 rounds, yes, very traditional CrossFit movements, but presented in the volume that it is as we watch her work through her smooth handstand push-up. She does a great job kipping there. Great accuracy through her hips and legs, which is often overlooked. Yes, it's an upper body taxing movement, but the hips and the legs have to be very accurate to get you to that wall. She's executing smoothly.
Manon Anganese and Ariel Lowen fighting for the top spot in this first of 2 heats, and it's Anganese now in the lead back to the barbell here in round 5. She will be done at the 120 rep mark. After this round, they will then do their power snatches on the platform in front of them. Just about at the halfway point for Anganese and Ariel Lowen. Emily Rolfe currently sits in 3rd place. Rolfe working her way back to the barbell. Anganese breaking. She and Lowen both through 117 reps. And Anganese back to work just ahead of Lowen. Manon Anganese coming in 14th place overall, but she's been going the wrong way in the overall standings. She started with a 9th in Texas Heavy, but since then a 12th and then a 17th in the circus last night, so looking to right the ship here. And both she and Lowen are done with round 5.
Yeah, she's going to, you know, and we've watched Manon take a few of these transitions. That was probably the longest transition that she's taken prior to hopping up to the ring muscle-ups. But athletes are basically gauging that transition, that longest transition from the snatch bar back to the ring muscle-ups, just so that they always know, hey, I'm going to get all 4 of these ring muscle-ups. Don't want to cost myself, have to break them up. Those straps are long. Sometimes they can get out of control. And Ariel and Manon are going rep for rep here, as they both have similar approaches to the way they've at least attacked it so far through these 5 to 6 rounds.
Danielle Brandon and Shelby Neal are in the top 5 as well. Emily Rolfe is battling with those 2 women for 3rd place in the seat, but the leaders are still Manon Anganez and Ariel Lowen.
And Manon was hands on the bar there at about 8:49. Ariel now moving at 8:58. So we're looking at about a 9-second separation. But how quickly is she willing to pick up the bar in between these sets, and how much does she even feel as though it's necessary, as we see her get a no rep, to keep the lead on Ariel right now? You know, it's interesting, Sean, when we think about the psychology of an athlete. They know how much work they have to do, and they also know where they're at. They're 6 rounds into this thing. Are they at a breaking point, or are they at a place where they're in complete control and they can actually run a race?
240 total score repetitions at the 144 rep mark, which they have both hit. They will be done with round number 6, and now it's into round number 7. So Anganez and Lowen separating themselves from the pack. Here comes Danielle Brandon as she looks to close out round 6. Emily Rolfe is in lane 9. She is on her power snatches, but has yet to start her final couple of reps. She was taking a sizable break as Danielle Brandon breaks. Danielle Brandon, 11th place overall, 145 points.
We just saw Ariel Lowen break her handstand push-ups for the first time. Sean, step away from the wall, break those into 2 sets. Manon still keeping hers unbroken. Ariel had a slight lead going into those by about 6 to 8 seconds, and of course that was diminished. She right now is cycling the barbell, though, to get to 12 each round, just a touch faster than Manon on the last 2 rounds. So we'll see how time plays out as they finish up this round of 7.
Lowen gets to work ahead of Manon Anganez. 168 reps. That'll be the end of round number 7 here.
Ariel has a really unique cycling technique as well going on. I'm not even sure that the bar brushes her body on the way up. It stays very close, and on the first one she tends to, but then she almost doesn't extend the hip quite all the way to get the bar overhead, and then snakes underneath it. She rebends her legs just to lock out her arms and extend her hips to show the rep is complete at the top.
Ariel Lowen hearing it from the crowd as she has moved back in front now. Manon Anganez still has 2 reps remaining before she will be done with her 7th of 10 rounds. Again, 240 total scored repetitions here. And Ariel Lowen looking to open up a little bit of a lead here on Manon Anganez, who has been right with her this entire event. In fact, Anganez has had the lead during portions of this event.
As we watch Ariel kind of shimmy her way through the ring, she tends to favor that left side a little bit first and then come through to the other side. That was her quickest transition to the ring, Sean, that I've seen in the last 3 rounds. So I'm not sure if she maybe sensed some blood in the water there with Manon pausing at the bar, but she definitely tried to seize that transition. Anganez still looking smooth on her ring muscle-ups. She does a great job extending her hip, getting to a higher portion of a dip and pressing out at the top.
Ariel Lowen is off the walls. Manon Anganez has now just started her handstand push-ups. Lowen making her 3rd appearance at the Rogue Invitational. Manon Anganez, this is her 2nd appearance here at Del Diamond, Round Rock, Texas. She was 11th last year. Ariel Lowen onto the snatches. Now starting to widen her lead over Manon Anganez through 187 of the 240 scored repetitions. She only has 3 snatches to go before she will close out round number 8. Danielle Brandon and Paige Powers working through their snatches. Paige Powers is a round behind here. Now Lowen is done, and Ariel Lowen moves into round number 9. Anganez still has 4 reps here on the snatches, and she's going to break again with 3 remaining.
Ariel, again, hardly any pauses. Right when she gets back to the pad, she's up and ready to go to work. Again, notice as she drives that hip open. That left arm goes first, right arm. It works for her. She's getting through.
Manon Anganez jogging back to the rings as Ariel Lowen's going to take a quick break before she heads to her handstand push-ups.
And even as she kicks up, it's again, psychological to know, like, am I going to break up these handstand push-ups? And if the answer is yes, a lot of times, as we see Ariel kick down there, a lot of times it frees you from wanting to rest with your hands on your legs or your hands on your knees in other portions. You give yourself permission to break things up, and it allows you to move more smoothly through transition. She's even going to go for a 3rd set there.
Lowen is done. She's still ahead of Manon Anganez, who has yet to start her set of handstand push-ups here in round number 9.
Not that these women haven't been working hard this entire event, but this is one of those pivotal moments where they've really got to choose to dig through the finishes. Ariel's looking to finish up round number 9 here. She's got to think, if I can, now I must. In order to have the urgency to keep in mind that 10 athletes are standing by, watching her execution, and noting exactly her finishing time and how to perhaps attack it so that they can just slide her out. So she's got to stay on the bar here and get back to those rings as quickly as possible.
Lowen in her last couple of reps here in this round, and now she is done, and Lowen moves into her 10th and final round as Manon Anganez is breaking again. She has 6 reps remaining before she will be into round number 10. Everyone else is a round behind our 2 leaders. Manon Anganez's final rep for her in round 9. She is done. Lowen back to work on the muscle-ups. 3 remaining.
As an athlete going into this final round, you know this is going to be the one that really demands the most of your fortitude and grit. You've got to be willing to suffer here. Ariel broke up the last set of handstand push-ups into 3 sets. I'm interested to see if she's able to grind all 8 of these out unbroken, using a little bit more leg drive. She still kicks down.
Breaks after 4. Manon Anganez now just starting her final set of ring muscle-ups. Lowen now is done with her handstand push-ups. Manon Anganez kicking up, getting right to work. This is where she's been able to gain a little bit of ground on Lowen, who heads to the barbell for the final time. And Anganez is going to go unbroken on that set of 8. Lowen right to work on her snatches. 7 reps remain. Here comes Anganez.
This is where you hope the crowd kicks in, gets her through the 12.
2 more. Final rep for Ariel Lowen. She is done, and Ariel Lowen will take heat 1 of 10th inning. 16:47.10 seconds for Ariel Lowen as Manon Anganez as is in her final reps. She has 2 remaining. Manon Anganez looking for her best finish of this competition, and again she's been heading the wrong way in the overall standings after a 9th place finish in Texas Heavy. She's gone 12th and 17th. Ariel Lowen, the only woman so far to go sub 17, 16:47.10 seconds. That leaves Elena Caratala as your leader on the floor, along with Emily Rolfe. The 2 of them are on their final sets of muscle-ups.
Very impressive performance by Ariel there, but I'll tell you what, Manon Anganez, she did a great job. I think her camp and herself are going to be extremely proud of her execution and effort there, regardless of how the time plays out, even with the top 10 ladies still waiting to go.
Emily Rolfe in the upper left-hand part of your screen covered up by our scoring ribbon, but you can see her, they're going through her handstand push-ups, and she is now done, and she will head to the barbell for the final time, separating herself from Elena Karatala for third place in this heat right now. The 19-minute time cap, so Rolf is going to have to make some quick work of these snatches and not take too many breaks, if any at all, in order to get through them and get inside that time cap. Here comes Karatala in the background. She's in the all gray. Emily Rolfe unbroken on this final set. Emily Rolfe is in with time to spare. (18:43.35 seconds for her. The final seconds before we hit the time cap. And Elena Karatala is going to come up a few reps shy. But Ariel Lowen, representing her home state of Texas here very well as she wins heat number 1, 16:47.10 seconds. Led at the beginning, then had to battle Manon Anganese, but was able to separate herself from Anganese in round number 7, and she takes the heat victory.
Yeah, she did a great job executing the whole way. She was smooth, she was efficient, and of course we had our eyes on her out the gate because she's got a great history, Sean, performing in any event that have ring muscle-ups present in them. But I'll tell you, it's really about self-control and a little bit of self-preservation. You've got to understand you're going to have the jitters, you're going to have the excitement coming out the gate. Ariel is a vet, and she understands what she needs to do execution-wise to have succeed at the end, and that's exactly what she did. Of course, she really put it on there. After round 7, she had shorter transitions even back to the rings. We see her using somewhat of what we would call a chicken wing form of the ring muscle-ups as she kind of shimmies through, favors one side to the other, and it works for her. In the latter round, she chose to start to break up her handstand push-ups, even into doing 3 sets to get to 8 reps. But then it was all grit and all tenacity for her through the finish as she relied heavily on the crowd here at Dell Diamond to push her through those final 12 reps unbroken.
Ariel Owen with the heat win. Looking to move inside the top 10, one of 3 women to finish that event inside the 19-minute time cap, and she will wait and see if her sub-17-minute time will hold as we are set now for the second heat of 10th inning presented by Crocs. Equipment getting reset. Take a look at our overall standings coming into this event, and it's Laurel Horvath who has your overall